Hey guys, YouTube Bartender here. Okay, here we go. Like I said, I'm gonna do. Here I am with a retro, No Mercy review. Yeah. And for this review, this is gonna be a review for No Mercy, 1999. Yeah. So as I've said before, 1999 was a pretty bad year for the WWF. Yeah, as I've said many times before, the five main pay per views of 1999 were all really bad. Yeah, and yeah, 1999 really was just yeah, it really was like the worst year of the Attitude Era. Like people really cannot be fooled by just because how dominant they were over WCW at this point. Yeah, 1999 was still a bad year for the company. Yeah, but yeah, I did talk about Backlash 1999 or earlier this year, and I said that overall was a really good to great show. Yeah, so that was one of the bright points of 1999. And yeah, and this one was another one. Yeah, I mean this was actually a really good show overall. Yeah, I mean yeah, this show it admittedly does start off pretty badly. Yeah, the first three matches of the show really are not really anything that good, especially the first two matches. Like the first two matches of the show are really bad, yeah. And it does kind of take a little while for this show to get going. Like the first half overall is really a pretty slow first half. Like yeah, the first half really is really nothing that great. Yeah, but in the second half it really does pick up, and it does have there's one match on the show that is probably what the show is really known for, and it is a really great match. Yeah, and yeah, and the second half overall I it really does pick up in the second half, and yeah, there are two um uh, really good to great matches on the show. Oh, so yeah, so due to it having like a one great match and another match that's really good to great, it really is hard to really say that the show isn't good. So yeah, so a lot of people have said how this is the best pay per view from 1999. Um, I'm not really sure if I can really go that far to really say it's the best because Backlash was a really good to great, and yeah, with this one it is still a really good show, but I'm not really so sure if I can really go so far to really say it's better than Backlash because well, yeah, like I said, the first half is admittedly a pretty yeah, slow first half. Yeah, so for the first half of the show, while you're watching it, you'll probably be sorry, yeah, like as you're watching the first half, you'll probably end up being pretty bored watching it. Yeah, but yeah, when does get to the second half, that is where you really will get quite a bit of enjoyment out of it, especially from two matches. And just so yeah, so yeah, man, it's really hard to say this show really isn't worth checking out. You just got to sit through a very slow first half to really get to it. So I would probably say like yeah, the show really is worth watching, but I would probably say when you if you do watch it, kind of just skip over the first half and probably come in at around the fifth or the sixth match on the show. That is probably how I would say how to check the show out. Yeah, but either way, yeah, due to it having two like really good to great matches on the show, yeah, I really would say that it is definitely worth checking out. All right, so yeah, so I guess I'll just start talking about the show. All right. So yeah, so like I said, it does admittedly start off like pretty badly. The first match of the show was the Godfather versus Mideon. And yeah, this was this match really was freaking bad. Like this match was really just like not really anything happened. Like yeah, it just like felt like really dull. And yeah, this match really just it had nothing. Like I really don't remember much from it. Like it was just like the two guys like fighting for like 7 minutes. And yeah, you had Viscera in Mideon's corner, and Viscera was trying to get involved throughout the match. Yeah, and then eventually like the Godfather was able to pin Mideon somehow, and Godfather ended up getting the win. Yeah. So yeah, this match really was just like really, really bad. And it was just like very boring and not anything happened at all. And yeah, really just a pretty dull way to open up the show. So yeah, so I would probably give that match like 1 star. Yeah, yeah. And then next up, then the next match had the women's championship on the line with Ivory defending against the fabulous Moolah. Yeah, I'm serious. The fabulous Moolah was competing for the women's championship at the show. A woman in her 70s challenging for the women's title. Really? Oh my gosh. Like, how stupid was this, honestly? I mean, it's one thing like when Mae Young and Fabulous Moolah were like making appearances in the company during this time, but them actually getting into like a match, actually wrestling, like, no. You couldn't do that. That's just stupid. And yeah, and this match was just awful. Like it was like so freaking sloppy, and yeah, Moolah just like wasn't doing good at all here. Like she was just way too old for this, and yeah, even Ivory was like really sloppy. Like there was this one point where Ivory like dove out of the ring. Like she was supposed to be on Moolah, and you can clearly see that she ended up missing Moolah as she landed. So yeah, so it was just stupid, and yeah, and this like went on for like 3 minutes. Mae Young was in Moolah's corner, and like she was constantly like trying to go after Ivory. In the match, yeah, and the match went on like for like 3 minutes, and and uh then like just out of nowhere, then Moolah then just ended up like pinning Ivory and ended up winning the women's championship. So, like, are you serious? The fabulous Moolah actually became the women's champion here. Like, oh my gosh. Like, seriously, how stupid was this? So It- So, yeah, this match was just awful, and plus, just Moolah actually becoming women's champion was just stupid. Like, this wasn't the 1950s or 60s. This was 1999. So, yeah. So, that match just, it was absolutely dreadful. So yeah, that match I give a dud. Yeah. So yeah, so the show does like so it did like start off pretty awful, yeah. But yeah, it does kind of pick up a little bit right here. Yeah. Then next up, then we had the New Age Outlaws versus Crash and Hardcore Holly. And this was a decent match. Like this was okay, but yeah, it really wasn't anything memorable at all. Like it was just kind of a standard tag team match, but yeah, it was better than the previous two matches. Yeah, it just did just like kind of go back and forth between both teams. It went on like 10 minutes, and yeah, and it was like not really anything memorable, but yeah, it was just standard action between both teams. Yeah, and yeah, then at one point, then as a the New Age Outlaws were getting the upper hand. Hardcore Holly ended up bringing a chair into the ring. Yeah, and then Billy Gunn ended up hitting a I think it was a famous sir on Crash right onto the chair. Yeah, and then the referee like saw that it was on the chair. So yeah, so the referee called for the bell and disqualified the New Age Outlaws. So yeah, Crash and Hardcore Holly ended up winning this match by disqualification. So so like I said, it wasn't really anything that good at all. Like there wasn't really anything memorable about this, but yeah, it was still like a decent tag match, and plus, yeah, like I said, it was definitely better than the first two matches. So so it was a decent match. So I would probably give it probably like about I guess I would give this like 2.5 stars. Yeah. Yeah. And then next up, then we had the Intercontinental Championship on the line with Jeff Jarrett defending against Chyna in a good housekeeping match. So some of you are probably wondering what a good housekeeping match even is. Well, yeah, this was like during the time when Jeff Jarrett was basically like just berating women. Like, yeah, Jeff Jarrett was like cutting promos against the women, saying how like they belong in the kitchen and all this stuff. So due to like Jeff Jarrett like having that women hating gimmick at this time, like this match like really did like this match like just like it featured like a whole bunch of household objects that could be used as weapons. There was like a kitchen sink, a trash can, some like there was like some like food that was like used in this match, and yeah, just like some other various household objects as weapons for the match. Yeah, and yeah, and yeah, this can like this stipulation really does sound like very silly on paper, and even like how it's presented, it still does like come across as just like a very silly and goofy, kind of like a lot of the stuff that like the company really did like have during this time. Like there were just like a lot of like very silly and ridiculous stipulations and characters during this time. Yeah. So it does like really come off as like being just very silly and over the top. But yeah, this was actually a pretty solid match. Yeah, like yeah, it really did have like some solid work of by using all the household objects on one another. Yeah, and then then like China like was like throwing a whole bunch of stuff in Jeff Jarrett's face. Like at one point, like China like threw some whipped cream in Jeff Jarrett's face. Then China threw like some flour in Jeff Jarrett's face, and then like hit him in the face with a couple of pies. Yeah, and Jeff Jarrett like was like using some of the weapons on China as well in the match. I think at one point Jeff Jarrett like used a broom on China and a trash can and like some other weapons throughout the match. Yeah, and then then like then as the referee was like taken out like at one point. Right, then Jeff Jarrett then ended up hitting China with the Intercontinental title belt and initially pinned her. Jeff Jarrett was initially declared the winner, but then the referee then uh, discovered that Jeff Jarrett had used the Intercontinental title, and so he overturned the ruling because the belt wasn't considered a household item. So the match then just like continued. Yeah, and Jeff Jarrett like unhappy with the referee's overturning and like was about to get the referee into a figure four, but yeah, then China then nailed Jeff Jarrett with a guitar, knocking him out, and then China then pinned Jeff Jarrett, and China won the Intercontinental title. So this was historic. China became very the first ever woman to win the Intercontinental title, and still to this day the only woman, and probably will be the only woman to ever hold the Intercontinental title. Yeah. And this also was, of course, at the end of Jeff Jarrett's WWF run. After this, he would be gone from the company, and of course, he would go to WCW. So So as silly as the gimmick does sound, like it actually was executed pretty solidly, and we did get a pretty solid match here. So I would probably give that match like 3 stars. All right, yeah. And then next up, then we had probably not really like the worst thing on the show, but probably the lowest point on the show. Then next up, then we had the British Bulldog versus The Rock. Yeah, I'm serious. Like The Rock is facing the British Bulldog in the middle of the show. And oh my gosh, like this really was just yeah, this match just was oh, I don't even know what to say. This really just was not a good match. This really was just like absolutely dull. Like when the British Bulldog came back to the WWF in 1999, it really just was not a good run for him. After the injury he sustained the previous year, you could just see like he just wasn't the same anymore. And yeah, his like a 1999 run with the WWF, it just really didn't go well due to his injury. Yeah, and it really does show here. Just yeah, just this really just was a very dull match. Like yeah, this was probably just like a very this really was just like a really low point, especially for The Rock. Like you have The Rock competing in the middle of the show against somebody like the British Bulldog. Like yeah, that's just yeah. It it just wasn't a good idea. And yeah, and this match just yeah, this was just a dull match. Like nothing memorable happened at all. Like it really was just like a very dull and forgettable match. Like I really don't even remember anything from the match. Like it really was just like the two guys fighting for like 7 minutes, and then yeah, then The Rock then just then hits a rock bottom and a people's elbow on the British Bulldog and pins him. Yeah, so yeah, so The Rock got the win over the British Bulldog, but really just this was just like such a low point for The Rock and just him like facing a hurt British Bulldog. Nah, it just was not a good idea at all. And so yeah, just a very dull match. I would give that like I'd give it like 2 stars. So yeah, so as you can tell, like so far, like for pretty much the first half of the show, like yeah, it is like a pretty slow first half, and it really didn't have anything. Like the Good Housekeeping match like was overall solid, but not really anything else really was. Yeah, yeah, but then this is really like where the show really does pick up. Yeah. Up next, then we had the match that this show is probably most well known for. Up next, then we had the tag team ladder match for the managerial services of Terry Runnels, as well as $100,000 on the line, with Edge and Christian versus the Hardy Boys. And yeah, this really was just, like such a great match right here. Yeah, like I said, this is the match that this show is probably the most well known for. Like, yeah, this was probably like the best match of 1999. Like, this really was just like such a great match right here. Like, this is really the match that really did like a solidify the Hardy Boys in particular here as like true WWF superstars. Yeah, because yeah, this yeah, of course like the Hardy Boys have really been associated with like ladder matches, and yeah, and this really is the match that really did like, have them really be established with ladder matches. Yeah, this really was just like such a great match right here. Like this match was just like so awesome. Like there were just so much usage of the ladder and a lot of like high flying moves throughout the match, and yeah, yeah, just like so many great moments in this match. Like just back and forth. Like you had, like I said, you had like a lot of usage of like the ladders throughout the match. Like there was a point where like Jeff Hardy leapfrog over a ladder onto um Edge and Christian. Yeah, you had like some suplexes from off of the ladder, and yeah, you just had like a whole bunch of usage of the ladder here. Yeah, this really was like a a precursor for like some other future ladder matches, such as the Triangle ladder match at WrestleMania 16, and of course, it would also like lead to the TLC matches also. So yeah, so this really was the match that really did like jumpstart like those kinds of matches. And yeah, and this really was just like this really was just like such an awesome match. Like like I said, you had like a whole bunch of usage of the ladders for this match. Like there was like a one point where like you had like ladders like representing a seesaw, and Jeff like jumped onto a side. Right, so the other side like jutted up, and it hit both Matt and Christian. Yeah, and yeah. Then you had the spot where like all four guys were like at the top of the ladder, and then Edge pushed Matt off off the ladder they were on, and then Matt fell into the other ladder that knocked Christian to the mat. Yeah, and then but Jeff was like able to jump to the other ladder, and then was like fighting it out with Edge. Yeah, then as Jeff and Edge and like just were like climbing the ladder, Jeff then eventually was able to push Edge to the ground, and then Jeff was able to retrieve the bag of money to, and then the Hardy Boys ended up winning the match. Yeah, but yeah, this really was just like such a really awesome match. Like you had so many awesome spots throughout the match, and yeah, some great usage of the ladder, a lot of high flying moves, and yeah, like I said, like this match really did solidify the Hardy Boys in particular as like a true superstars. Yeah, yeah, and as I said, this really was like a precursor for future like tag ladder matches, such as the Triangle Ladder match and the TLC matches, and yeah, those other kinds of matches. So yeah, if you haven't seen this match before, you definitely check it out because yeah, this match is just such a great match, and yeah, and I would definitely say this was the best match in 1999. Just an just a phenomenal match right here. So yeah, just awesome stuff right here. That match I would give 4 3/4. Just yeah, such a phenomenal match right there. All right, yeah. Then next up, then we had well yeah after this, then we had like a promo from The Rock. The Rock came out again, and then The Rock was just like cut a bit of a promo, and yeah, then The Rock was just saying how he would be going after the winner of whoever won the WWF Championship match that night between Triple H and Stone Cold. Then as The Rock then like was leaving, then Triple H then attacked The Rock with a sledgehammer and just like nailed The Rock in his ribs and back and places like that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, then The Rock ended up being like stretchered to the back to be tended to, and yeah, and this would like play a factor later on in the show, but I'll get to that later. All right. Then the next match of the show was Val Venis versus Mankind, and this was overall like this was a solid match right here. Yeah, this was enjoyable. Yeah, like this wasn't really anything memorable. Like yeah, not really anything like memorable, but yeah, it was good. Like it just was like kind of go back and forth or between both guys. Like there was this point where like at this point Val Venus had stolen Mr. Rocco from Mankind. Like yeah, you remember like that year when Mankind did the This Is Your Life for the Rock. He gave the Rock presents, and one of them was that Mr. Rocco, which was like like Mr. Socko was a sock with the Rock's face on it. Yeah, like Val Venis had stolen that at this time. Yeah, and like during this match, Mankind attempted to retrieve it back from Val Venis, but was unable to during the match. Yeah, and it and just went back and forth. Yeah, then we had like a standoff with like a uh, Mankind having Mr. Socko and Val Venis using Mr. Rocco, yeah. Then they like clawed each other with the respective socks, yeah. With Mankind, of course, using the mandible claw on Val Venis, and Val Venis clawing Mankind's balls, yeah. Then it was just kind of like a what the fuck ending, where like Mankind just ended up like a falling back, and Val Venis fell on top of him, and then like Val Venis just pinned Mankind like that. So yeah, so it was just kind of like a what the hell just happened moment. Yeah, even the crowd just kind of just seemed in like just like kind of like baffled by the finish. So yeah, but yeah, then after the match, like Mankind then attacked Val Venis some more, and then Mankind then eventually was able to retrieve Mr. Rocco back from Val Venis. Yeah. So yeah, so like I said, it was like a a solid match. Not anything memorable, but yeah, it was overall enjoyable. So I would probably give that like 3 stars. Yeah. And then next up, then we had a 4 corner elimination match. It was Kane versus X-Pac versus Bradshaw versus Faarooq. So yeah, so it was kind of strange to see this was a 4 corner elimination match rather than it just being a tag team match. Not really sure like why they did that. Yeah. But yeah, this was another match that like it was overall a solid match, but not really anything memorable. Yeah. It was just kind of like all 4 guys like going at it with each other. They're like not really anything memorable. It was just kind of like all 4 guys just like fighting amongst each other. Yeah. Yeah. Then like you had the eliminations with like Kane eliminating Bradshaw, then like like just seemed like immediately after, then X-Pac then just ended up eliminating Kane. Then it went down to it got down to X-Pac and Faarooq, and yeah, and then X-Pac and Faarooq were like fighting it out for a few more minutes, then X-Pac then hit a X Factor on Faarooq, and then X-Pac then was able to pin Faarooq. So yeah, so X-Pac ended up winning the match. So yeah, so like Val Venis and Mankind, this was overall like an enjoyable match, just not really anything memorable about it. So I would probably give that match about I guess I would give that 3 stars as well. Right, right. Yeah. And then we got the main event, the WWF Championship on the line in a no holds barred match. Triple H defending against Stone Cold Steve Austin. And yeah, this really was like a really good to great match right here. Like this was just a pretty awesome brawl between the two. This was kind of like their match at Survivor Series 2000, where like once again it's no holds barred. And yeah, and it really just seemed like a very brutal brawl between both of them. Like as Triple H was coming out, he came out with the sledgehammer, but then Vince McMahon came out behind Triple H and took the sledgehammer away. Yeah, and then as a Triple H then just hit Vince. Then Stone Cold then like went after Triple H in the entranceway. Yeah, and then and it was just like the two of them really just like fighting, hing, back and forth. Like Stone Cold like used a part of like the guardrail and like nailed Triple H with that. And they were just like fighting all around the entranceway, and they like fought into the crowd. Yeah. Then at one point, then a Stone Cold then like threw like a camera boom right into Triple H. Then it like eventually like spilled back into the ring, and the guys were just like continued to like fight it out, like just like were beating the hell out of each other. Yeah, one point like Triple H ended up suplexing Stone Cold onto the Spanish announce table. Yeah, then Stone Cold then like threw Triple H into the steel stairs and the announce table, and then eventually Triple H got busted open. Yeah, then at one point Triple H nailed a Stone Cold with the ring bell. Yeah, yeah, and the two guys really were just like really going at it with each other. It really did kind of remind me of their Survivor Series 2000 match, because this match really did really seem to be like in the same style as the Survivor Series 2000 match. It really was just like a brawl between them. I would say that I do think that the Survivor Series 2000 match was more brutal than this one, but yeah, this was still like a pretty awesome brawl between the two. Like, it really did just go back and forth, and yeah, and you really did like feel the hatred between them during this time. Like, of course, like there was more hatred in their like 2001 feud, but yeah, you could really still feel the hatred between them at this time. Yeah, and it really did just like go back and forth between them. Yeah. Then yeah, and then eventually, then The Rock then came out with the sledgehammer. Then yeah, then The Rock of course like was like trying to go after Triple H. The Rock then tried to nail Triple H with the sledgehammer, but Triple H was able to move out of the way, and The Rock inadvertently ended up hitting Stone Cold. Yeah. Then yeah, then Triple H then ended up pedigreeing The Rock. Yeah. Then yeah, then Stone Cold after being hit by the sledgehammer was out, and Triple H then was able to pin Stone Cold and get the win. So yeah, so Triple H ended up retaining the WWF title. Then afterwards, like Stone Cold continued to go after Triple H. They fought backstage area until Triple H was finally able to escape in a limo. So yeah, so this really was like a really good to great match right here. Like, yeah, really did enjoy the brawling between both guys. Yeah, and it just sucks that like this really couldn't go on further, with Stone Cold eventually ended regaining the title from Triple H. Yeah, because of course like the following month was of course Survivor Series, where like they did the angle with Stone Cold being run over, and Stone Cold like missed a year of action due to like this being like when he had neck surgery and stuff. So yeah, so it just sucks that like we didn't get more out of this iteration of the feud, and we had to wait like an extra year to see more from Stone Cold and Triple H. But yeah, this still was like a really good to great match, and just really did enjoy the brawling between the two. So yeah, so that match I would probably give a 3 3/4. Just yeah, really good to great match. Yeah. So overall with the show, oh man, I guess I would probably give it oh gosh, it really is hard to rate it. Hate it. I guess I'll probably go for a 7.5 out of 10. Yeah, because yeah, like I said, like the first half is like a really slow, especially like terrible first two matches. A very unmemorable tag match, and like a really low point with The Rock facing the British Bulldog. Yeah, but yeah, it does. But yeah, like I said, it does pick up in the second half, and it just having two like a great ladder match and a really good to great WWF title match. Yeah, so due to having like a two really good to great matches, it really is hard to really like say that this show really isn't good, despite the fact that it does have a very slow first half. So yeah, so I would definitely recommend the show, but you're just like I said, you're just gonna really have to sit through a very bad first half to get to it. So I would probably just say, as I said at the start, kind of just skip over the second half, or the first half rather, and just come in at the ladder match. Just watch it really from that point on, because everything before that you're not really missing much. I mean, maybe the good housekeeping matches like maybe worth a watch, but yeah, it's you just gotta like really like just expect to see like some really goofy stuff from that match and just a very silly gimmick. But yeah, with two really good to great matches on the show, yeah, I would say that this is definitely a good show and worth checking out, despite the slow first half. Alright, so yeah, so I guess that's the best way I can put it. Alright, so yeah, so I guess that's all I really have to say about it. Alright, so yeah, so this does it for my review of No Mercy 1999. So I hope you guys did enjoy this review, and now that I've gotten this out of the way, up next I'll be starting what I do have planned this year for Halloween, so stay tuned for that coming up next. Alright, but I hope you guys did enjoy this review, so thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.